The Nile did not simply flow through the land of Egypt, it defined it. Each year, as the waters swelled and spilled across the dark soil, life began again. Crops rose from the earth, villages stirred with renewed purpose, and the rhythm of existence resumed its ancient, unbroken pattern. To the people of Egypt, this rhythm was not chance. It was Ma'at, the sacred balance that governed all things. And within this balance, women stood not behind men, but beside them. From the earliest days of the civilization, long before towering temples cast their shadows across the desert, the idea of harmony had shaped Egyptian thought. Everything existed in duality, light and dark, life and death, order and chaos, male and female. None could exist without the other, and none was considered complete alone. In the bustling streets of Thebes and Memphis, this philosophy was not an abstract belief, it was visible in daily life. Women walked freely through marketplaces, their linen garments brushing softly against sun-warmed stone. They bartered with merchants, managed household accounts, and spoke with confidence that surprised foreign visitors. Some carried baskets filled with bread and dates, others carried scrolls, tools, or instruments of trade. Their presence was not hidden, nor diminished. They belonged. The house and the nation. Though the man was recognized as the head of the household, this authority was not absolute. It was, like all things in Egypt, balanced. Inside the home, women held a power that was both practical and profound. A home in ancient Egypt was more than a place of rest, it was a center of production, a space of ritual, and a foundation of stability. Women oversaw food preparation, textile production, and the management of servants if the family was wealthy. They ensured that offerings were made to the household gods, that children were raised with discipline and care, and that the invisible threads of daily life remained intact. Without them, the structure of society would quietly unravel. Men might build monuments and lead armies, but it was women who sustained the rhythm of ordinary existence. And in many cases, they did far more. Voices in professions. Not all women remained within the walls of their homes. In workshops filled with the scent of dye and heated metal, women crafted fine linens and intricate jewelry. Their hands moved with practiced precision, shaping materials into objects that would travel far beyond their place of origin. In quiet chambers lined with papyrus scrolls, women served as scribes, recording transactions, documenting stories, and preserving knowledge. Though fewer in number than their male counterparts, their presence in such roles spoke volumes about what was possible. Some women became physicians, learning the secrets of the body and the properties of herbs. They treated illnesses, assisted in childbirth, and earned respect not only from their patients, but from their peers. Others performed music in temples and courts, their voices rising in songs meant to honor the gods or soothe the hearts of those who listened. And then there were those whose influence reached even further. Women could become advisors, trusted voices in matters of governance and diplomacy. Their insights were sought, their counsel valued. In rare but powerful cases, they rose even higher, stepping into roles that placed them at the very center of authority. They became rulers. The sacred balance. This acceptance of women's presence in positions of influence was not accidental. It was rooted deeply in Egyptian belief. The gods themselves reflected the same balance that governed human life. There were goddesses of wisdom, of war, of love, of fertility, and of protection. They were not lesser reflections of male gods, they were powerful forces in their own right. Isis, Hathor, Sekhmet, each embodied a different aspect of existence, and each was revered with equal devotion. Creation myths told stories in which the feminine principle played a crucial role. Life did not emerge from a single force but from the interaction of complementary powers. The universe itself was born from balance. To deny the importance of women would have been to deny the very structure of the cosmos. Freedom and choice. For many women in ancient Egypt, this philosophy translated into a degree of personal freedom rarely seen in other ancient societies. A woman could choose whom she wished to marry. Marriage was often a practical arrangement, but it was not without personal agency. If a relationship no longer served her, she could seek divorce, an act that, while not always easy, was legally recognized. She could own property, manage wealth, and enter into contracts. Her name could appear on legal documents not as an extension of a man's identity, but as an individual. She could travel, conduct business, and participate in religious life. These freedoms were not universal. They depended on social status, on circumstance, and often on the support of men within her family. Some women never fully realized the extent of their rights. Others found those rights challenged or denied. But the framework existed. And within that framework, many women thrived. The quiet struggle. Yet beneath the surface of harmony, there were tensions. Balance did not mean perfection. While Egyptian society afforded women opportunities, it was still structured around male authority. A woman's position could be strengthened or weakened by the men in her life, her father, her husband, her sons. Approval mattered. Support mattered. Without it, even the rights granted by law could become difficult to exercise. There were women who fought, quietly or openly, to claim what was theirs. They navigated expectations, resisted limitations, and carved out spaces for themselves in a world that was not always as balanced as it claimed to be. Their struggles were not always recorded, but their impact endured. A civilization defined by women. Across centuries, through the rise and fall of dynasties, through times of prosperity and times of uncertainty, women remained an integral part of Egyptian life. They were artisans and healers, mothers and leaders, musicians and scholars. They shaped the culture not only through grand acts of power but through the countless, unseen efforts of daily life. And for more than 3,000 years, this balance held. But no civilization remains unchanged forever. Beyond Egypt's borders, new influences stirred, cultures with different beliefs, different structures, and different ideas about the place of women in society. These influences would not remain outside for long.